ops associate through GNO Inc.
Okay, nice.
To get that straight. How you been doing?
Grinding.
I know, right? Name of the game.
Yeah, about to have to lock back in even harder again.
Yep, that's the name of the game. Lock in, pivot, tweak, all that. Right.
Yeah. What time we started? 45 or no?
I thought they said 5:45. What time is it?
Looks like they're giving people a few more minutes. You can grab a glass of wine real quick. What's up, guys?
I seen you like coming around, so I was like.
As soon as I was coming around, I was coming to say hi to you guys, and
maybe
then you weren't.
setting up his camera.
I did set up my camera.
What you been up to today?
Today, just working until this, really. Working on my business a little bit, like I'm halfway through the year, you know, and just kind of reviewing everything. Deciding where I should put more money, spend more time, where we can grow our revenue. Yeah. So,
how are you with paid users now?
paid users are at like 100 and something. We're gonna talk to. We got like almost like 1,000 registered users this year, and probably like 400 are paying or in their 30-day trial right now. And so for the 600 that are past their trial and haven't paid, we're gonna offer them like a month free in exchange for like answering a survey to learn like where the gaps were. Because some people like probably didn't even know that there was a whole membership, so like it's a lot of people's first time even being aware of what we do. So just find like gaps there so we can address them. And then for the people that have become paying members, we're going to do like a dinner for them, get some testimonials, find out why they decided to pay, and then use those insights to go get our next 1,000 members.
Cool.
Yeah. Put some more in the ads for the event space rental element of our business.
Space rental.
Yeah, the private rentals.
On a weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we do it during the week too, but most people are renting on the weekend. So yeah, just put more money into that so we can generate more revenue. We're doing probably like $4,000 a month from that. We put like $300 a month into ads. So ramp that up. I just set it up for $900 a month right now, and hopefully we make $10,000.
See, that's the thing about B2C. Like you are going to spend, well, the B2B as well, but I don't know, like now that I have seen more traction B2B, I'm just like, I don't spend anything on ads. I mean, my B2B partners are not looking for milestone made on social media, so we're going like directly to them having meetings. So that has.
I think the media can help, not necessarily for.
Definitely can help. It definitely can help.
As an exposure.
Yeah. But right now, with being limited on like capacity. Like I'm in the process. Well, I already secured Louisiana Children's Museum.
Right.
I actually have a meeting with Nest Health on Friday.
Okay, so like as a client? Okay.
Yeah. So when they go into the homes for like the pediatric care, they'll have milestone made. I was like, I've been trying to have a talk with Dr. Glee for a while.
Yeah.
But when I went to Natchitoches, I was able to talk to her.
Yeah.
And so we have a meeting this Friday coming up for our Louisiana-based team. So that's held. I had a meeting last week with DePaul Community Health. But I'm also looking at DePaul with Dr. Corey Hebert coming on as the Chief Medical Officer for Milestone Made. So we'll see.
That's happening, or that's in discussions, or what's that?
Early discussions. So yeah, like the B2B get me excited right now.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm just like, once I'm like, I really had to connect with just that one champion on their team to really get all of that. So yeah.
Nice. Yep. And your product is fully like operate. So your product's fully operational now.
Yeah, the first version of it. So right now we're not doing the billing. We're not doing this CPT billing right now. But I'm trying to get more. If I get the Promise Venture Fund, then I'm bringing on like a coding billing specialist to assist with that. But yeah, so we do the developmental screenings and care coordination piece that's completed. The next phase up would be the billing, the CPT billing. I mean, I can do it manually just to add on another perk to add the cost up, but I want to automate it. So, and my tech guy, he knows how to like code all of that. I just need a specialist to come in and really work through those pathways. So I have all the people. I just need some extra dollars to make it happen.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, end of the year, what does success look like for Milestone?
End of the year.
Hey, good to see you, man. We're gonna get started in just a couple minutes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
End of the year. Closing the 3 partners that we have. Children's Museum, that's but at least DePaul and Nest Health. But I have a lot of like intro calls for B2B partners in rural areas. I started already making connections in those rural communities. If I get the funding, good. If I don't, oh well, like I'm still. Like I already still started reaching out to those people. So I'll say at least.
I need to go to a rural community just to see.
Like most of Louisiana is.
Oh, considered rural?
Yes. I'm gonna show you the map.
Sorry, I love your hairstyle.
Oh, the hairstyle? Yeah. Thank you. I'm doing by the way.
And Kwame.
But yes, most getting Louisiana Department of Health, they have their
Something like that.
they just launched like a screening project for developmental screenings. So I'm trying to be like the vendor for that. And there's been a lot of like early childhood proposals that's been out that's been like due, so I'm applying to those as well. So one for like 20,000, one for 10, one for like they have different proposals coming up.
Right.
That's due.
Right.
So yeah. Oh, I'm showing you the rural map.
Yeah, what's considered rural?
Literally, like
Everything. Except New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
New Orleans, Baton Rouge, La Place, like that's not that's urban. My drive. That's what I had my intern doing. Like she literally.
Looking in from the outside, his initial reaction was to land. I'm not that I agree with that assessment.
Whatever.
I would have gone the other way. I kept her, put her in charge.
Yellow is rural.
Yellow is rural.
Rigid to somebody else.
Ain't none of this rural. Clackamas ain't
That's
rural.
urban.
Clackamas ain't. Clackamas is rural. Terrebonne is rural. I can mess with Iberia. Oh wait, that's New Iberia or?
No, New Iberia is close to Lafayette area.
Yeah, I gotta go. I don't know them places like
So
that.
the people who I'm like starting early conversations with, Tangible Hood, East Feliciana, Morehouse, and West
Morehouse.
Carroll.
Oh man, what is even up there?
Yeah.
I gotta fall through.
Yeah, and so I in early conversations with Tangible Hood right now because they have 9,000 children under the age of 5. So like I went through, well, my intern went through and just like identified how many children under 5 in each of the parishes and organizations that connect with those families and children. So I've been like reaching out to them, making calls. Yeah. But it's a lot of them.
Send me that. That's crazy. All right, I'll see you on the panel. Hello? Hello? Still on the phone? You're just a curious person, so not surprised. And you were listening. Yeah, so where did you say you're going to dinner? I feel like you should. Like, and not talk about work? What's wrong with that? Not really. Only if I feel like I should be working instead of socializing. No. They're about to call us up though. I'm just making sure my camera's set up nice.
You guys can hear me? I'm going to get started here. My name is Sean Mulligan. I'm the Senior Programs Manager here at the Idea Village. We're very excited to have you. This program has been very special to us over the past 3 years.
You can watch on live on Bear Health.
It's fully supported by the Regents Foundation, and we're just very grateful for their support. I think that we've been able to
on our YouTube
founders through this program thus far.
Our
we're excited
YouTube,
to
and
be
you
bringing back
wouldn't know
a
anything
new
about
round of the program to help
on our
a whole
YouTube.
group of founders. Just to give y'all a little bit of context, IDEAfuel is a program where we pair companies with mentors and we give them a $15,000 grant in order to really set runway and test some hypotheses so that they can go out and prove that they can go raise a larger round of capital or just move to the next step of their business. IDEAfuel has now served, I'm going to get this right, it was 2, then it was 4, and then it was 6, so that's a total of 12 founders, 12 companies that have gone through the program, over $90,000 in non-dilutive funding that has come through this program, and we'll be giving 5 more spots out for this upcoming round of the program. So we're going to dive into a lot more of the process, but I just wanted to put out there that applications are due on July 6th. After July 6th, our programs team is going to be reviewing those applications and coming to a decision, most likely by the 10th, it might be a couple days after the 10th, on who is going to be pitching at Selection Day. And so Selection Day is a process where you would come in, you would pitch to a room of mentors, funders, and staff members to tell them what you want to accomplish throughout the program and what you want to sort of set out as your goal within the IDEAfuel program. It's a pitch unlike any other. Usually you're up there pitching for cash. This time you're pitching for help. You're pitching for exactly what I want to get done and how I'm going to do it and what expertise I need at the table. So much of this program is about mentor fit and is about us being sure that we have the right person in our network to meaningfully move your business forward. Everybody here is working on something that is worth pursuing and that is worth going down this path for. And this decision gets very hard for us because everyone is working on something that is so worth pursuing that it always comes down to just, do we have the right person to put next to you for 4 months to meaningfully move this forward? So, like I said, we're about to hear from a bunch of alumni of the program who are going to speak more to that experience. But first, I want to bring up Salem from Geno Inc. to give you all a little bit of context on the larger IDEAfuel community.
Thank you. All right, y'all, how we doing it?
Good.
Hey, I'm Salem Hopte. I work with Greater New Orleans Inc., which for those of you who don't know, Geno Inc. is the economic development agency for New Orleans and the bigger 10 parish region. And so, like all EDOs, we simply exist to attract business to the region as well as grow business that already exists within it as a way of creating wealth and jobs and improving the general quality of life. Boosting startup activity and supporting companies like the ones you all run is a vital part of that mission. And so we created Startup NOLA, which is an umbrella of all of our startup programs and really just a way to amplify all of the work that the Idea Village and many other entrepreneurial partners of ours conduct all the time. You know, that's through monthly meetups, pitch competitions, all sorts of programs. New Orleans has such a rich entrepreneurial history, especially when thinking about minority founders, in particular Black founders. We're home to some of the country's first self-made millionaires. And we also have one of the highest percentages of Black-owned businesses per capita, right? But we, as you all are probably very familiar, the data doesn't match that. We're not, our companies aren't scaling or reaching the capital and customers as some of our counterparts, right? And so we spun out a program called Startup NOLA that's just focused on scaling Black-led startups from Greater New Orleans as a way of achieving and advancing economic equity within the region. And so everything we do, all of our events, just exist to push forward 3 different pillars: connecting our companies to their target customers, improving their access to capital or growing capital within our region, and then growing our community. And so we've done a series of events over the last year and a half to further those pillars. And so because of that, a partnership with IDEAfuel makes beautiful sense. The program has already just shown so much success and has been so catalytic for founders. And so I'm excited that we get to lend our services and business support to the program as well as our thought partnership. And so I was also asked to shout out some events we have coming up. We've got a lot going on during Essence. Are people staying in town for Essence? Yeah, we are. So we have a happy hour that we're doing next Thursday in partnership with Camelback Ventures and Uninvestor. And so that's going to be at Monarch. That's on Thursday, July 2nd at 4 p.m. So come through, meet founders, funders, all that. And then who's familiar, show of hands, with the New Voices Foundation? Okay, some of us. So New Voices, they are focused on building a more inclusive entrepreneurial network, and they have 2 hubs within Essence that are just focused on innovation. They run most of their innovation activities at Essence Fest. And so we're partnering with New Voices Foundations to bring forth and promote a few programs. First off, a pitch competition. That's on Sunday, July 5th. And so if you apply to participate in the pitch competition and you get selected, we'll select 3 companies, you already get a prize, right? There's up to 50K in prizes. The minimum is 10K, top prize is 25K. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And so if you're interested in that pitch competition, please let me know. I'm going to be hanging out here, and I'll make sure to send you the information so you can apply. We also have some office hours we're conducting with legal experts, PR experts, and some retailers. So I know for sure we have Target. So if you're interested in securing Target or a big box retailer like that, also let me know, and I'll make sure that we get you hooked up with an office hour. All right, that's all I got. Thank you, Sean.
All right. I'd like to invite our alumni up. Shay, Ashley, Nicole, Tamika, Kwame, please join me up here. And we're going to kick off this panel discussion. And like panel discussions, there's going to be some open Q&A. So while these founders are giving their stories, talking about their experiences, be thinking about some questions that you guys are curious to know more about. We're going to hand the mic off to you at a certain point and let you guys take the floor. So please give them a round of applause. I'd love to start just by going down the line, have each of you tell us a little bit about yourselves and the business that you are building. Shay, let's kick it off.
Hi, everybody.
Oops, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Hello? Okay, I was gonna start singing again. My name is Shay Claiborne. I am the founder and CEO of Milestone Mate. We are a health tech company that connects parents and providers to monitor, support, and build their child's development. So we digitize screening assessments, and our recommendation engine drive parents to real-world solutions based on their zip code and their insurance.
Hey everyone, I'm Tamika Dixon, CEO and founder of Impact Connections. At Impact Connections, we are an organization that helps other organizations with serving the individuals that they serve and getting them connected to resources that they need and opportunities. So we look at social drivers of health resources like housing, transportation, healthcare, employment to help individuals have a better quality of life. We also look at ourselves as a community intelligence organization because with those outcomes and that information, we're able to partner with foundations and municipalities to be able to help alleviate barriers in that area with those resources.
Hey everybody, my name is Kwame Terra, CEO and founder of Bear Health. We're a startup company based here in New Orleans, committed to maximizing health in the Black community. We have an app that gives people a health score, kind of like a credit score for your health that changes in real time. If you go on a run one day, your score goes up a few points. If you get 3 hours of sleep one night, score goes down. Based on those changes, we make recommendations for how you can improve, as well as connect you with healthcare providers, resources, and experiences at Bear Connect. Ultimately, our goal, again, is to help people elevate their health scores. We do it in a variety of ways. And yeah, we've been around for about 3 years now. We just opened up a space at the beginning of this year called Bear Connect. We've raised about $550K. IDEAfuel was actually our first check, first five-figure check, a second five-figure check in 2023. And it's been a journey, great journey. Looking forward to sharing that with you guys today.
Hi, I'm Ashley Nicole Gross, and I am the founder as well as the CEO of Tada Baby. And Tada Baby is a marketplace that connects families with birth practitioners in their area. So birth practitioners are like doulas, midwives, OBGYN. You enter your zip code or you enter your city, and we tell you who's in your area and who to contact. And you can also contact them, reach out to them, schedule on their calendar.
Y'all are doing such incredible, important work within your businesses, and I think do speak to the communities that you're serving, the backgrounds that each of you have professionally. I think that's a really admirable thing, and a thing that we've always looked for in founders is sort of bringing that background expertise. I want to start at the very beginning. What were you hoping to get out of IDEAfuel when you first applied?
Honestly, when I first applied, I had a whole different business. I applied to IDEAfuel with my first venture that was called Mommy Fluent Toys. It was a retail toy company that specialized in play tools for young children birth through 5. So when I first started the program, I really won. I had traction. I was generating revenue. I was able to scale within the US in different states. And so when I applied to IDEAfuel, I really wanted the credibility of Ideal Village because it's nothing like your city and your state supporting you. And I felt that I was going to get that through Ideal Village. I was going to get that through IDEAfuel, which I did. I also wanted more guidance. My background is early childhood development, early intervention. I spent the last 10 years working in that field, and I didn't know much about business, but it started to take off. So I'm just like, okay, I need to rewind and really just get this together because this can be something really, really powerful. So that's like the top 2 things. Also, the non-dilutive capital. If you are a founder in like wherever you are, if you are pre-seed, seed, doesn't matter what capacity your company is at, non-dilutive capital is the best. It's the best. And so those were the 3 things definitely that had me really excited about the program.
Yeah, so for me, my background is social work, and I was the social worker that worked in the corporate space and insurance companies that manage Medicaid. And I kind of got tired of seeing us be able to give people numbers or links and really not knowing if they got connected to those resources or exactly what happened. And so for years, I was telling all my employers, like, hey, we need to fix this. And they were like, no, that's somebody else's problem. And during COVID, I then pivoted into the digital health tech world, and I saw a lot of folks that knew tech but didn't know healthcare. So when I first went through IDEA Institute, I went as just my back of the napkin of like, hey, I need to be around other people that's kind of delusional as me and think they can do something like this and hang with people that's gonna support me. So when IDEAfuel opportunity came about, that just was just what it said. That was that fuel. I knew then that what I knew a problem, I had a solution. Now I need to figure out what do I do with this. And we initially went in, because we had so many individuals that were, well, organizations that were interested in what we were doing. They understood the why of it, but nobody told us they wanted to pay for it. And so I wanted to understand how to really be able to find who our customer was through pilot. And IDEAfuel definitely helped us with that. We were able to create our identity through website, through, just all the things that look polished, professional. With that $15,000. And so we were at the end able to secure our first hire.
So at the beginning of 2023, that's when I first started working full-time with Bear Health. We didn't really have any money, and I went all in. I had just lost like 2 jobs in December, and just felt like that was a signal for me to just go all in. And now going all in going full-time as an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you're making full-time money. And we were pre-product as a company. In 2023, we didn't even have our app. We had an online health score assessment as our product. So I took a real big risk. And I'd actually also brought on 20 student interns that fall that I said, you can either earn some equity in the company or you can earn a $1,000 payout at the end of the year. At the end of the semester, you get to choose. Now, I didn't have the $20,000 to potentially pay the 15 or the 20 interns. However, when I first started trying to raise money, I was reaching out to investors at first. Everybody said no, if they even responded. And so I quickly pivoted to applying to startup accelerator and incubator programs, right? These boot camps that provide this wraparound support, non-dilutive funding. And so that's ultimately what I was looking for. I was looking to be developed as a founder, looking to be developed in a variety of ways, just how to think bigger, right? How to think about, how do you go from a $100,000 company to a $100 million company? Apparently there's not that much of a difference. It's just a mindset thing. And that's really what's been the most fortunate part of the experience of being in incubators, being in IDEAfuel, is just you get around people who are familiar, who have normalized building multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar companies. And that mindset is just necessary. So that's been really the most valuable part of my experience in these incubator programs. IDEAfuel in particular, actually, that was our second 5-figure check that we got, and I paid my interns, so that was great. And I actually went to Dubai like a week after the program started, and yeah, that spent probably a little more money than I should have there, but we're still going, so that's good. And we ultimately raised about $100,000 that year in our first year as a company. And there's something valuable about having already been selected for a startup incubator accelerator program when you're applying to others, right? So we applied to probably about 100 that year and got into maybe 8 or 10. This ultimately is a numbers game, so do that. But having the record to say, hey, we've been in IDEA Institute, now we got into IDEAfuel, they're continuing to invest in us, so maybe you should too. So that's what I was looking for sure.
I started my journey very differently. I am a mother to 4 children, and 3 of those babies I've had at home, and 1 I had naturally in the hospital here. And so this really came out of a need for me. It wasn't something that I was really trying to go after. I realized that Black women were dying 3 times more than their white counterparts, and then I also realized that the white counterparts here in America are 2 times more likely to die than their European counterparts. So America's maternal health system and infant health system is a debacle. What I just so happened to fall upon is New Orleans ranks 49th in maternal morbidity and infant mortality, and we just received an F on the March of Dimes report for for maternal mortality. And so I began to think about what solutions we had at that point. My husband and I had about, about 1,000 practitioners, doulas and midwives, and people would just call me and say, hey, you know what, who was your doula, who was your midwife? You made it, y'all made it, who was your doula? How did y'all make it? What did you do with your baby? And so I had a list of like people who I would recommend for their birth. And then I'm like, well, if people can't reach me, how are they going to do it? And that's when my lovely husband sewed in some capital for this journey, and we were able to build a prototype for a software application. But at that point, I'm like, I need to take it further. And we were in New Orleans, and I did the IDEA Institute. I went through the IDEA Institute, and I was on Sean, I don't know, I was like, is IDEAfuel happening this year? I don't know, I may have emailed him 4 or 5 times, but I was persistent because I needed the funds to really amplify and also like grow the business. Ironically, I saw these 2 ladies on the day that we presented, and I'm just so happy to be sitting alongside them. But I just feel like this is a very unique situation, and you have the ability to really use the resources with Idea Village, and to be amongst entrepreneurs and to really vent, because it's a lonely journey. It's a very lonely journey, but to be able to call Shay and say, hey, this is what's going on, it's a nice relationship. So I'm thankful for IDEAfuel for that, and the $15,000 really helped us launch our web app now. So, and luckily it's been free. It's free for moms. So if you know any moms or if you know any doulas, please send them to Tada Baby so they can get the help and the support that they need.
That's all great. I think that you guys came to this program for the right reasons, and something that I've been telling folks as they've been asking questions about the application is sort of, how do I do this ask? And I think the ask is truly like, what do you want to get out of the program? How do you want to use this 4 months? How do you want to use this experience? And how do you want to meaningfully sort of move your business forward? That's where we can start to make matches, and we can start to understand how we can best help. I want to talk about the mentors and how you guys interacted with your mentors throughout this process. What did those meetings look like, and how did you sort of best utilize that as a resource?
Yes, I had a wonderful mentor. I actually still work with him to this day. I was a part of the IDEAfuel program in 2024. It is now 2026, and I just had a call with him on yesterday. Yeah. So my mentor actually, like outside of the $15,000 non-dilutive funding, he was the most valuable output in this program. Again, my background was not tech. I didn't start IDEAfuel program with a tech product. I pivot to that along my journey, and that's also to say, sometimes you don't start with what you are going to end with, and this program is okay with that. They believe in you as a person, as a founder. They pour into you. They give the mentorship and the $15,000 to you as a founder because they believe in you. And sometimes your ventures change. But how did our meetings go? So the first kickoff, my mentor actually flew in town to meet with me. He is based in Chicago. We have a welcome week, the first week of the program, where we meet other founders, we meet their mentors if they're based here. Luckily, my mentor was able to come in person, and I think that really kick-started how wonderful our mentor and mentee relationship grew into, because I was like, wow, he came here from Chicago to meet with me, like, let me give it all that I got. And so from that first meeting, he just like, what works best for you? And I'm here to support you. So we actually had calls weekly because my journey was a little bit different. I started to realize that how I was solving my problem wasn't the way that my users and my customers wanted me to solve the problem. And so I had to dive in a little bit deeper, and so we had a lot more calls than what the program probably shared with us, and he was okay with that. So we just scheduled it based on what I wanted, and that's just kind of how it went. Outside of the program, he still, like I said, I'm still working with him to this day. Shout out to Derek. So if you guys ever get into the program and want to connect with a great mentor, Derek Vanderpool, he was so amazing. So that's just how our relationship and my mentor was.
And so with our mentor, I think we went in because at that point we were like, we need an MVP. Like, we just need someone who was well versed in tech and who could help us build. And we went in looking really tunnel vision in that way. And I really respected our mentor because he kind of pulled us back and said, yeah, that part we can code, we can get it together. But let's think about operations. Let's think about really laying a really strong foundation for scaling. Now, remember, we didn't have a pilot, we didn't have a customer. We, idea, people liked it. But as much as we kept coming back to, no, we need to build an MVP. He was like, yeah, let's do that, but let's also, challenge ourselves to put things in place. And I share that because even now, as we're with our second customer, as we, got over with that pilot, we've had some pivots. I find myself still going back to that checklist, making sure from an operational standpoint that our bones are still good, that our foundation, that we're laying it the right way. And so I shared that to say that, with your mentor, definitely, you know what you're looking for, you know what you want to build, but kind of as Shay said, don't be scared to pivot, but also don't be afraid to be coachable as well, too.
Yeah. So I was in IDEAfuel 2023. My mentor's name was Eric. He and I actually didn't really see eye to eye on the vision of Bear Health. It was for most of our meetings, and we met weekly as well, we were having like philosophical debates about how to best uplift the Black community. My approach is direct to consumer, focusing on the Black community. His idea, at least at the time, maybe it still is that you build a solution that everybody can benefit from, and rising tides lift all ships. I think both of those on some level, have a valid basis. But those are also important things and conversations that you need to have as you're building your solution, especially if you're building an impact-oriented solution. Because he's right, I could go to California and market my platform to, a bunch of, almond women that just love health and wellness and invest every dollar and every moment of their life into this, and then you take that capital and invest it into the Black community, and we solve that problem that way. Ultimately, I decided to kind of stick to what my approach, which focusing specifically on the Black community. I think looking back, what I wish I had done was be a little bit firmer, like with him in the relationship. Like, hey, I'm not going to pivot from this right now, so let's work on the way that I'm working right now, so that we can make the most out of this. That's the only piece of advice that I'll give regarding a mentorship relationship, because the majority of the program is that relationship. So it'd be best if it's efficient. Again, that was my first program that I participated in, so didn't necessarily have that perspective or that wisdom. But that would be my recommendation, that if the relationship between you and your mentor, is it perfect in your view? It's okay for you as a founder to state clearly, hey, this is where I'm going right now. How can we make the most out of this path or this direction? Since it doesn't seem like I'm going to change my mind right now, And so, yeah, I think again it's really important. I think they do a good job of, based on all of the information that you submit, in pairing you with a mentor. I've had, I don't know, probably like 8 incubator mentors since then. They've been great. Some of them have invested in our company. That relationship is really important. And so there's no like burnt bridge or anything like that between Eric and I. Just make sure that you take that seriously and get as much out of it as you can.
Sean, do you want me to answer the same question? I know.
Yeah.
Well, ironically, my partner and I, we went to my mentor's wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
So we are very close. However, we did have some differences. And he's one where he mentioned something to me that I'm still not able to shake it, but I want to share it with you. He was like, you're trying to boil the ocean. And that and I'm a creative. And that's kind of how I've garnered my livelihood, by trying to boil the ocean. And so we had some differences, and we were able to work through that. But he was very understanding about like my approach and what you know. So I suggest know what you know and trust what you know instinctually. And the mentors that they have are very aware of that. And ironically, while Shay spoke to Derek yesterday, I spoke to Derek maybe about 2 months ago. So I'm also, Derek is very analytical, and my mentor was more, not as analytical. He was more warm and fuzzy and strategic, whereas Derek is like, where can we make money now? And I recognize that, and that's another thing you can do throughout this program. I'm not sure if it's advised via Sean, but I made a relationship with Derek, and Derek was like, well, call me if you need anything, and we've actually pivoted because of something Derek said, and we were able to garner revenue that way.
I want to just add.
Yeah.
I spoke to Derek too. Don't be afraid to, knowledge is knowledge, and it's amazing when people want to sow into you. And so Derek gave me those eyes and was like, hey, call me sometimes. And I told Shay, I was like, I really wanted to talk to Derek. She said, funny, he asked about you. So that is also a part of the program where it may not be a mentor, but you may have a mentor that, really likes what you're doing and see who you are as a founder. And so don't shy away from that as well.
The idea to host Derek a Christmas card, I think.
Don't forget a card to give.
That part.
No, this is great. I think these are really candid conversations about mentorship, and something that, we really look for is for y'all to be the experts, for y'all to come to the table as people who know the field that you're building in, and the mentorship should be additive, should be something that you end up parsing through and picking the pieces that are most valuable to you, because I think at the end of the day, a lot of people have opinions, and you are the one who's building this business, and so I think that at the end of the day has to be the guiding light. It's your own instincts and your own feeling of what's going to sort of best move this forward to the vision that you have set out. I want to ask one more question to our panelists and then hand it over to the audience for some Q&A. Selection day can be intimidating when you have to pitch to a room full of people, especially a small boardroom full of people. Looking back, what advice would you give to someone going into that experience?
Looking back, I will say no one knows your venture, no one knows your company like you do. They don't know if you're making a mistake. And you are getting them to believe in you. You are the person to do this. So you have to be confident. There's no way around that. You have to be confident. You have to, but they want to see you win as well. So going into that room, don't go into the room and just oh my God, they are just going to judge everything that I say. Yes, they are, but they also want you to win. Another thing I would say is, if you do not get into IDEAfuel, always ask for feedback. Feedback has been something that has helped me so many times. I've applied to many different accelerators, and this was actually my second time applying for IDEAfuel, and then I got in the second time because of feedback. Don't take it to heart. Just what could I have said better? What, did they not understand what I was saying? Just ask those questions, because you always can get a clear idea of how to tell your story. This is your story to tell. This is your venture to tell.
Yeah, I think for me, I was more nervous in the waiting area, because as I was meeting and talking to Ashley and Shay and other folks, I was like, man, but I'm not there yet. And so I tell you, don't compare yourself to anyone else's journey, and don't go into the room worried about anybody else's journey. Don't feel as if that you have to misrepresent yourself and say you're further along, or you're doing something that you're not, because what I did enjoy about our cohort was that everyone was on a different journey. Like, we witnessed in real time when Shay came in that morning and said, I think I'm a pivot. And we were like, what, really? And then we have some folks in our cohort that were further along. They had many customers. They had been in business for longer. And so we were able to learn from each other. And so, you know, just represent yourself on how you are. Something else that I learned from then and I continue to learn is also in the room, you know your business, yes. You are the expert, yes. But don't assume everyone knows your business like you do. And so make sure that whenever you're explaining that you do make it relatable as well too, so they can have that aha moment. I remember I told a story and the guy was like, oh my God, my daughter's going to college. You're right, we do need to find providers whenever she goes. And so, you know, think about that piece of it too. Yes, you're the smartest person in the room, but also make it relatable where everyone can understand what you're talking about. I remember when we got in to IDEAfuel, super excited, and Sean's exact words were, we don't know what y'all doing, but it's something, but we feel like y'all should be here. And I think about that on my rough days. I was like, Sean said this is something. So, you know, definitely just be authentic is what I say.
Yeah, it's definitely nerve-wracking to walk into a room full of people sitting around a table. And I didn't know that was actually going to be the setting when I first walked in, and then when I did, I was like, oh, okay. But fortunately, I actually knew probably 90% of the room already. And that's a testament to all of the work I had put in on the front end and building relationships over the past 2 years before. So as much as you can do that, the better, right? Because then as soon as I walked in, I was nervous, but then I saw a bunch of people that I already know and that already know me. And so then the nerves went down. I think it's important in any pitch to make sure that there's a clear vision of how the world will be just a little different because your solution exists. I think that that's ultimately what investors are investing in, because that's what an opportunity is, an unmet need, unserved need that exists in someone's mind. And so that's all you can really do in that moment. And then ultimately they're going to ask questions and make sure you have really good answers. And again, don't give them everything so that they then don't have questions, because that's not a great experience for you. You want to give enough to where they think that there's something interesting here. And then when they ask the questions, because they maybe assume that you weren't thinking about this, thinking about it this way, then you can respond to that sufficiently to where, okay, this person's thinking big. They've thought also, you know, of every detail about their venture and how it might be, how it might ultimately grow over time. And again, between those few factors, I think that we were nearly a shoo-in for that year. Again, but I had done so much work before that pitch. Now that's the work that really matters, and I just encourage, if you haven't already done that work, do that work as much as you can over the next, 15 days? And also just be okay with the fact, or like if you don't get in, this is ultimately a numbers game. You need to, again, I've applied to, 150 startup accelerator and incubator programs. Many of them I've applied to multiple times. Our biggest check came from our third application to, what was it called, NextCube. Yeah, NextCube is a virtual incubator. They invest $120K in the startup. That's what we got in 2024, and that ultimately carried our company to more or less where we are now. And again, the more people invest in you, the more others are interested in investing in you. Our developers invested $200,000 into the company as soon as we got that $120,000 check. And so it's just all of that kind of begets itself. And so I just, again, encourage you to take as much action as you possibly can. That's the only thing that's going to ultimately get you the results that you're looking for. And so figure out how to set your mind up to where you can do that. And so when you walk into a room of people sitting around a boardroom, you're not actually worried about the outcome, because you already know that you got 75,000 other shots over here. So that's kind of what I do. So before you go to the pitch, apply to like 10 other programs, just so you don't even care what happens.
It's difficult going last because I'm going to say ditto. But I think be prepared. Don't enter that room and not know what you're selling. I think that's I've seen that happen. I also realized something that happened to me in the room was I was like, these are young kids, not young kids, but I was just like, they don't have kids, they don't understand the need. And I was taught, like, while I was pitching, and the one person in the room that I was like, she doesn't get it, she was the one who advocated for me. She said, I have that problem. And I was shocked. And I was like, man, so don't count yourself out in the room if you stumble, or don't judge people in the room because you really don't know what company aligns with what. And also, like, I think to your point about applying for multiple incubators, the irony is that we recently applied for another a pitch competition, and we weren't selected. But I kept the faith, and I don't know what faith you have, but if you believe that the vision inside of you was provided by something higher, then you just have to stand firm in that. And a company recused themselves, and so it was our turn, and I was not going to let that turn go without me being successful. And we ended up placing third in that pitch competition. So sometimes a no from Idea Village or IDEAfuel could be a yes somewhere else, and you just keep knocking on the door.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. As somebody who looks at hundreds of applications in a given month, you don't always know what you're looking at. And sometimes you know that there's something there, and sometimes you're just not sure exactly what to do with it yet. And it's always a not yet, it's never a no. Because I think a lot of times we just have faith that founders are going to be able to go out and figure out what the language is, what the story is, what the way to sell the thing is that eventually gets it through the door. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'd love to open it up now to Q&A. Does anybody have questions? Yeah.
I have a question for Kwame, is it?
Kwame, yeah.
Kwame. Okay, so I know that you say you're about maybe like 3 years into your business. How do you know when not to give up so much equity? Or have you gotten where you've given up equity in your company? I kind of want to learn a little bit more about that, because you know a lot of people say stay away from equity starting out, try non-dilutive funds, but I want to get your take on that and how you're trying to still keep majority of your company.
Yeah, I mean, if you asked me this 3 years ago, I'm pretty protective of equity because of the mission of the company. If I were building a company that I was really just trying to make money off of, then I wouldn't be as protective of the equity, because at the end of the day, capital is oxygen for your business, and it's an advantage because you can go faster than someone else who doesn't have capital. I think that we've gone slower as a company because I haven't gone after traditional venture capital as much. I've focused on more non-dilutive, incubator-based capital. And so, but ultimately the majority of, so we've raised $550,000, maybe not quite 10% of that is equity, right? So the majority of I still own 90% of my company, and we're in the market completely. I own the tech, all of that stuff, and I completely control everything. So I think as much as you can, try to be able to maintain control, because we gave up equity, but we didn't lose any control through the process. And again, it just depends on the type of business that you're trying to build. Like I have another business idea that I have no emotional connection to, and I'm just trying to build it as quickly as possible and flip it. And so I'll give up 25% for $1 million and get it just to accelerate it. Now, what I will say on raising money now is that because of AI and how it's leveled the playing field as far as being able to build technology, now anybody in this room is as good a coder as the best coder was last year. That is just you guys come to our AI club on Thursday and I'll show you how. Because of that skill set isn't necessarily an advantage anymore. And so there are a few things that stand out as advantages, and one of those things is capital. Because if we can all build the same product that has the same quality and solve the same problem for the customer, the one that's going to win is whoever can get to the customer the fastest, who can get to the most distribution the fastest. And you can either already have distribution because you have a platform and you're an influencer or whatever, or you can buy distribution. And so I'm willing to give up more equity right now than I was 3 years ago, just because if I can get capital, I can go faster. And there's really going to be a small window over the next 5 years or so where the companies that move the fastest are going to own the future. And so again, I think differently about it now. I wouldn't be as cautious about giving up equity anymore. So
What about Next Cube? Was that non-dilutive?
that was diluted. That was our first dilutive check. Yeah, I think it was 8%. Yeah, it's a great program though. Yeah, 6 figures in the bank at once is crazy.
So I don't know if you said this, but all of you are solo founders or you're partners?
I have a co-founder. My co-founder is actually here. It's next to you, actually.
Yes, I'm
A solo founder. Yeah.
And I'm a newly solo founder. I went in with a co-founder, and my co-founder transitioned out about 5 months ago. And so,
I have a couple of questions. One for Kwame, you mentioned something about Thursday night AI, and then the second question could be for anyone. I want to know how you set up a budget or and the marketing plan. Who helps you come up with that, or do you come in with that? The timeline, the marketing, all of that. Yes. Okay.
So we have a wellness first third space on Bayou Road for the Bear Health community, and we host a variety of meetups and experiences all week, probably like six or so meetups per week. One of them is AI Club that I started just because I started playing around with AI and I just wanted some other friends to do that with. And so every week we help people build a website or an app in 10 minutes or less using AI, and it's free, and you just have to be a member of Bear Health, and membership's free for the first 30 days. After that, it's $40 for 3 months or $110 for the year. So yeah, 7:30 on Thursday. Encourage everybody to come. And then second part was how to build out like a budget and strategy, all that stuff.
Who helps you? Does your mentor contribute to that, or do you have to come in with that when you apply, or?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how early you're thinking about this stuff. If your business is already like established and you have lots of customers and revenue, then yeah, like having a clear, detailed plan of how all that's going to work out is going to be interesting to the judges, the investors, so on and so forth. If you're an idea, whatever you say, they don't think that that's actually going to happen. They actually know it's not. So, I mean, show that you've been thinking about how, you know, the profit margins will work. Like, okay, it's going to cost us this much, $5 per month to carry a user, and so we're going to sell it for, you know, $20 a month, and so we make 15 bucks per month per user. Right? Just like showing that you're actually thinking about this business, from a profit perspective. Other than that, they're not going to be that concerned. I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just like you don't even know. You haven't even talked to a customer yet. How do you even know?
Most financial projections are wrong, and we know that.
I just say let the data drive it. Okay, so for instance, my venture, my primary user is parents, but parents don't pay for my software with B2B. So I'm like the data. How many children are in this area? How many organizations connect to those children? And then like this is how much I want to make, so how much I have to charge to get there. So I think let data drive your overall budget, but in particular the IDEAfuel program, say you get the $15,000, there's no one, sorry about this, but there's no one that is going to come down and like, okay, what are you doing with the $15,000? But you can work out that with your mentor, be like, hey, I want to utilize this $15,000 this way. Can you help me create a budget? Like, ask all the questions that you need to ask.
I also add, it is, and I think it's still a part of that, but it is a forecasting part of the program as well too. And so definitely go in with your hypothesis and your hunch of if you're at idea mode of what you think, and then that was really helpful for us to be able to like start forecasting, and that kind of started us with like where we are now.
And I want to give a short plug to Salam. So they actually have workshop hours, like what she was sharing about Essence with New Voices. So they do have office hours for founders to go to and talk about different things. That is actually one that you could get with office hours, or talking to a financial planner or somebody like that.
Just to kind of like double click on what Shay was saying about understanding like how many customers are in your area. Like I think the numbers that are going to be really interesting to investors, especially early on, is you being able to show that you understand your market. So there are this many people in my market. This is how much people are spending on average in this industry. And so this is how big the opportunity is. I'm going after this piece of it. Do you want to help? You know, so I think those numbers are really important, more so than like your actual models.
Yeah, and I'll just say, while we do know that the financial projections are probably wrong, we do want them to be based on something. We do want to see the work of how you got there and to see that you've done the work of understanding that market and saying that like there is a real opportunity here if we are able to capture this group based on our hypothesis that they spend this much in this space and that we're able to capture them through these channels. So we want to see the vision. We understand that we're never going to, put the feet to the fire and say, why didn't it work? Because that's just a reality. We're all working here, we're all trying to figure it out, but the more work that you're able to put in, the more real that vision looks to the room. And the more likely you are to get one of those 5 spots. Yeah.
I have a question. So do you have the the pitches recorded from last year?
We have our demo day presentations recorded from last year, and we can definitely include that in the wrap up from this event.
Another question.
This guy right here.
This guy.
Yeah, right here.
Mine was for Shay. You mentioned that they witnessed you pivot in real time. A lot of times that does cross your mind, but when you put in so much work, this gets too much. What made you want to pivot, and how did you convince yourself?
I love this question. So again, when I started IDEAfuel, I started with my retail toy company, and I really used IDEAfuel to really do a deep customer discovery. I had customers, I had people paying, and I really took the time that I needed to really talk to those customers. And as I was talking to those customers, they were telling me like so many different things that I started to hear like a recurrent theme of what they were telling me. And I'm just like, okay, well, they still don't feel that I'm solving their problem. Like they're gonna buy toys, but I need to solve something a little bit deeper. So I started to hear those recurring themes, and like, okay, what do I do with this? So I took that information. The missing field for me was providers, so pediatricians. I'm like, okay, this is what parents are telling me. What are you guys seeing? So I literally went through IDEAfuel program. Like I was doing interviews throughout that whole time. So then interviewed pediatricians. Like, hey, this is what parents are telling me. What are you guys seeing? And they told me what they see. I'm like, okay, this is good. Now I can do something else. So I really worked with my mentor to really outline like what the problem that my customers were telling me, like what is a way that I can solve that through technology, which I'm a non-technical tech founder. So I was able to take in that those interviews, those themes that I was seeing, and really outline what a product would look like based on my customer discovery. So it was scary. It was really, really scary for me. I was just like, I literally came to everybody, I was like, yo, I'm gonna shut down Mommy Floyd. Like, they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I think it's time, like, that I shut it down. It's not fulfilling what I needed to fulfill. And so I did it. I just did it. I didn't turn back, and luckily I had the $15,000 to get a prototype. So I used my $15,000, one, to do customer interviews. I actually paid customers to do interviews with me to get their feedback, to get their ideas. Went to pediatricians, gave them gift cards and things like that to give me the data that I needed. And then from that, I was able to develop a prototype of now my platform. We actually launched in March this year. But from 2024, shutting down my toy company, December 2024, spent the whole 2025 really learning about technology. I went the opposite way of what Kwame was sharing. We hired a lead software engineer because I knew that in my particular field, I needed to be HIPAA compliant. I needed to really be compliant with the needs of healthcare. And I know that hospital systems, pediatric clinics, they are very low risk. So ideally, they're not going to do deals with AI coding. I mean, it's just what it is. Some ventures can do that, some can't. And so I had to find a lead engineer to help me build my company. So hope that answered.
Let's do one more. I want to go, right here.
Thank you. First of all, thank you to Idea Village for putting this on, and thank you for the panelists for being here today. I have two questions, but I'll do one for the sake of time. Well, my question would be to the panelists. Out of all the venture accelerator and startups, I know it's probably easy to say well, $15,000 is $15,000. So why not be a part of the program? Was it anything that sold you on being a part of this acceleration program with Idea Village? Is there any way that Idea Village stood out besides the other organizations that you may have applied to?
That's a great question, and that is a very important question. At least for me, I think I did Idea Village because when you mention their name in rooms, it gives you, it creates a buoyancy. So I knew that if I was able to say Idea Village, or they do the New Orleans Entrepreneur Week, their brand is really strong in the city. And so I was able to kind of put that backpack on and progress. So that's what was important to me, and that's why I felt like this one was. And also, a lot of them are from New Orleans and have adopted the New Orleans type of mentality, whereas some of these incubators nationally, they're very stringent. But it's nice to be able to come to the shop to say, hey Megan, or hey Sean, this is what I'm doing, and get face-to-face kind of advice. And so that was a very important protocol for me.
I'd say for me, it was a no-brainer by the time I IDEAfuel, because when I had the idea of launching a tech company, the what if piece of it, I actually applied to Idea Institute. I think it was like a day late. I was sitting in the airport and found it on LinkedIn, and I think they mailed to Sean. They like, man, I got accepted. And I was late. But they had been with me from day one, from my thought of what if, through IDEAfuel, to even whenever my previous co-founder, when he transitioned out a few months ago, I came and worked from here. I was going to the bathroom, saw Megan, and I was like, remember all those hard questions you were asking me a long time ago? Like, I need you to ask them to me again, because I need to get back to that point. And so there's never been a time that I haven't shot out an email or called or popped in, like you said, and talked about a resource or just help, or even just needing the brain dump that they hadn't been there. And I think that is, the 15,000 is amazing, but when you can have someone a part of your village as a founder like that, or organization a part of your village is amazing. They know you by name, they know how far you've come, they know where you're trying to go. And so I think that is just a testament to the work that they're doing as well.
I'll add one thing, definitely echo everything you're saying. They're true champions of what you're doing. Like literally any room that you go to, you'll either see Sean or John, and they're always just like, oh, what's been going on? But they keep up with you. Like they keep up with what you're doing. Also, when opportunities come, they speak your name, they give you those e-introductions or give you those connections. I have been able to connect with VCs and connect with different organizations because of connections from Idea Village. I will also say this, a lot of accelerators, when you finish the program, that's it. But I can say Idea Village and Camelback, I'll shout out Camelback as well. Those are two organizations that truly, like when you finish the program, they still continue to work with you. We ended the program in 2024. They call us, we're coming. So that just goes to show you that they, like, whatever Sean needs, I'm gonna show up. I'm truly going to show up because successfully my company, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing now, but they told me yes first.
Yeah.
They gave me my first yes, they gave me my first check. For a lot of us, a lot of us, this was our first check right here from home. And oftentimes this doesn't happen because, you know, I can get into the whole New Orleans foreign capital conversation, but they said yes, they believed in us, so always gonna return the favor or speak whenever time they give us a call.
I'm gonna just share this too. In the climate that we're in right now too, I think it just speaks to organizations that are still having programs like this, that loudly and proudly say this is for individuals that have historically been overlooked. And so that hasn't gone away. And I think that is just a testament to who they are as well. I also want to share that when I was in IDEA Institute, I did the pitch competition. This lady was one of my judges. And so when you hear the networking conversations and the relationship piece of it, that's important because now me and her have been in several rooms and making sure each other are in several rooms as well too. So you never know through your experience here who you're gonna meet.
Thank you guys so much. You're making me blush up here. So we're gonna hang around. We're here until I don't even know what time it is now, but 7-ish.
It's 7-ish.
7-ish. It's 6:54. Yeah, we got a few minutes. So please, y'all, we got more drinks, we got food. Please, like, hang around for a little bit. There's time. We really appreciate y'all coming out. One more time for our founders up here. Oh, yeah. Handle this real quick.
Sean, they'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always like, yes, I gotta go back to work.
Should we do this? I think this is right. Perfect. Thank you, K-Way. Oh, thank you so much, man.
No problem, of course.
Yeah. That shit that you said about the mentor was very important.
Why you say that?
Because I think that a lot of people try to, like, I don't know.
Sugarcoat it?
Sugarcoat the fact that, like, a mentor is so important, but it's like, sometimes the mentor is wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes the mentor is against your own advice.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
it is a really important thing for people to hear, especially
Yeah.
before they get into that kind of a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, because they could think that, like, they're all knowing, all.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
for sure.
Yeah,
no
man.
problem.
Excited to catch up soon. I want to hear
Yeah, you
about
gotta-
this.
you
I
gotta-
want to hear about this business that's ready to scale.
I didn't say it's ready to scale, but
That's ready to take on 25% equity. I love it.
I'll do that with this. It's called Acquire.
Cool.
The whole purpose of it. I think that's going to be like our brand story.
Yeah.
Acquire gets acquired.
That's right.
But it's a business that helps, basically makes it easy for or current businesses that are trying to sell their businesses to new operators.
Yeah.
Like, just make that process as easy as possible because it's a bunch of old white guys that are ready to go golf.
Yeah.
But don't have a succession plan, and so there's
It's a huge trend right now. A lot of people are tapping into SBA loans for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's
Cool.
I'm just going to try to catch a little bit of that wave.
I
Excuse me.